In the previous parts, we learned what the Linux system is, how it works, how it's built, and the philosophy around it. We can now move on to the installation of the system itself. We'll see the process itself and what to expect during it. We'll start with the basic information on hard drives and data carriers. Before moving on to the installation, we need to know how the system works, more or less. Please note that references to hardware work a bit differently than in Windows. As we know, everything in Linux is a file. Therefore, any reference to a hard drive and any reference to a partition is actually a file located in the D directory. Generally accepted naming conventions are shown on the slide. IDE disks, generally older, now rarely seen, are visible through HDX files, where X stands for the consecutive letters that correspond to the consecutive disks. SCSI, SATA, USB drives, and others are visible under the name SDX. X here also is a letter that works as a disk numbering. For CD-ROMs and DVD-ROMs, separate files named CD-ROM and DVD-ROM are created. Sometimes they're seen by the system in exactly the same way as IDEs or SCSIs. However, this depends on how a distribution decided to solve the problem. Floppy disks were visible under the FDX alias, where again X is the number of disks and changes from A to Z. These days, it's unlikely that you'll see a floppy disk, but they're still present on older systems. X is the drive designation letter. It can have values starting from A and increasing in the order of which the drives were connected to the controller. The first controller, the first disk, will be designated with the letter A. The second controller, the second drive, gets, for example, the letter B, depending on whether there's something between them. Partitions, on the other hand, that is, the things that are visible in Windows as ordered letters C, D, etc., are denoted by digits appended to the device's name. For example, the sixth partition on the first drive will be seen as an SDA5 file located in the dev directory. Most systems have one physical disk and one CD-ROM. In such a case, the hard drive will most always get the SDA tag, and consecutive partitions will be numbered from 0 to the number of partitions on the disk minus 1. The CD-ROM will be the CD-ROM file in the dev directory, and the DVD-ROM will be the DVD-ROM file in the same directory. Other devices, such as a USB connected to the system, are named SDA, SDB, SDC, and so on. It's important insofar as that you must partition your hard drive during Linux installation. The Linux installer manages disks using the common naming conventions. Some distributions use different notation based on, for example, disk's identifier or its internal number. But the basic naming will always be recognized.